You're tuning in to the J Blast Network. Oh yeah, welcome to the next level. In the late 90s, platformers were transitioning into 3D. With the rise in demand of more 3D games, it was only natural that big-name platformers would make the jump. However, with being that 3D was a new thing, many developers struggled to get the control and camera down. You either had linear platformers with a fixed camera, or semi-open world platformers with a bit of a janky camera. And some games mixed both, but nothing really got the control down. Now, part of this was the controllers. I mean, look at the N64 controller. Does it look comfortable to you? And don't even get me started on whatever the hell the Saturn 3D controller was. PlayStation had a good design for its controller, but it lacked analog sticks, making 3D movement troublesome regardless of how good the movement was in the game. Enter the DualShock controller, the controller that will become the grand standard for all PlayStations going forward. With the small addition of 2 analog sticks, 3D games became much easier to control. But Sony wanted a game that would show off the potential of the analog. Now, there was Spyro, but you can still play that with a D-pad, and most controls still form around that. No, you see, Sony needed a game made around those controls, and the answer to that would be Apes? Yes, Apes. Ape Escape would hit the scene in 1999 and show off the full potential of what analog controls can do. The game required that controller, so it was designed fully around it, taking advantage of both analog sticks. The game would be semi-open world with collectibles, except this time, the collectibles would fight back, as they were the apes. As insane of an idea that was, Ape Escape would push the 3D platformer genre into a direction with better control, along with making its monkey business a part of the gaming landscape. This ape of a game will receive an Apetastic reception. Y'all don't like the ape puns, huh? Yeah, sorry about that. With the excellent reception that the game received, Ape Escape would become one of Sony's flagship titles at the time. But what about this ape adventure made people want to escape from their limited 3D controls? Hi, my name is Jay, and you're tuning in to the J Blast Network, as we take you on a blast of the past to look back at all the monkey business that was Ape Escape. After that wacky intro, our story begins with Spike and his friend Jake heading to the professor's lab. The professor has been working on a time machine and the boys want to test it out. However, upon entering, they see the professor and his assistant Natalie being captured by the apes. These apes escape from the zoo with the help of a white monkey, Spectre, who obtained a mind helmet that makes him smarter and gives him psychic powers, allowing him to control the other apes. Spectre activates the time machine, sucking him, the apes, Spike, and Jake into the portal.
It works. It actually works. We did it, Natalie. We did it. The time station is complete.
The professor seems too excited about the wrong thing. Well, at least Spike is safe. It was transported to the prehistoric times, along with some tools. Using these tools, Spike sets out on a time-traveling adventure to capture all the apes and stop Spectre from rewriting history where apes rule mankind. After hearing that, I know you're thinking, that is so ridiculous. But that's how Ape Escape is, just don't think about it too much. Ape Escape's gameplay revolves around capturing the apes on the map while exploring different time periods. You'll capture the apes using gadgets, and this is where the analog controls come in. You see the left analog stick is used to walk, while the right is used for gadget. This allows you to swing gadgets in different directions with the freedom of attack that most games did not offer at the time. This also allows you to approach objects from different angles. You jump with the R1 button and switch different gadgets with the face buttons. So where does that lead the camera? Well, you can reset it with the L1 button. This isn't the greatest camera control, mostly because you don't have a second analog stick to help, but it's better than most 3D platformers at the time. The control was the big gimmick of this game, and honestly having so much control over your gadgets makes the camera a little less frustrating. But there aren't too many areas that will mess it up. The gadgets are important because they're your main method of catching these apes, and you'll need all the movement options you can find. The first gadgets you'll get are the stun club and the capture net. The stun club can be used not only on apes, but also defeating enemies in the levels. The net is how you capture the apes. Now, some apes are pretty easy to get. They may run a bit, but they aren't hard to chase. However, some will fight back, and that's where you'll have to combine the gadgets together to catch them. For instance, using the stun club to stun the ape, and then capturing it is one of the combos. Apes will react differently to you. Not all of them have the same pattern. Some you can't really combo with gadgets, but you can sneak up on them and grab them, and some might use some really specific method of capturing them. This keeps capturing apes refreshing, as each level will be having you doing different things for at least one of the apes, and navigating the level itself. There are also more gadgets to unlock. In the first 2 ages, you'll get the water net, the slingshot, and the monkey radar, all of which you'll go into a training room to be taught on how to use these. Now, on repeat playthroughs, this can be kind of annoying, but the training is so quick, you can get over it fast, but you can't skip it, which is kind of an annoyance. But on the function of the gadgets, the water net functions in 2 ways. It allows you to traverse water fast and captures apes in the water. You get this before you get into the first level with water, and man, this is probably the best swimming in a 3D platformer, at least at the time. Only second to Spyro 2. You swim pretty fast with the boost, and apes must want to get captured when they jump in the water with how easy it is to capture them there. The monkey radar allows you to locate apes even if they are in different areas. This is mostly used for apes to hide in different spots that you may not see them in at first, but it helps you if you can't find an ape in general. The slingshot allows you to shoot different types of ammo and open switches or hit apes or enemies. There's the regular ammo, and then there's missile ammo and bomb ammo. This is mostly used for puzzles and destroying structures with the bomb shots. It's a good tool for exploration and opening different areas, especially for worlds as big as these. As for the world themselves, they all revolve around a different period in time, with the first 2 being the Lost Land and the Mysterious Age. The Lost Land is a prehistoric era. Each period of time has 3 levels. The big gimmick here is the dinosaurs, which some apes will use to their advantage, like this one hiding on a pterodactyl's egg, taking advantage of the fact that the dino will come and attack you if you get near it, or this one who's riding on a T-Rex, which you can knock it off of it to capture it. Having apes use different gimmicks of the times really makes the level stand out. Again, each ape in the level provides a new variety which keeps gameplay fresh. That's something that other 3D platformers and platformers in general struggle with. The Mysterious Age feels very similar to the aesthetic of the Lost Land, but it's more focused around different temples and ruins. This is where the platformer starts to kick in as you navigate the many traps in the ruins. The apes here will also mess with the traps in the ruins, so you have to be more creative when capturing them. When you start platforming more, you'll realize the jump can be kind of stiff. It works, but you don't have much movement mid-jump, but you do have a double jump. Spike is less agile than his PlayStation contemporaries when in the air. Now the level design does accommodate for this, with most of it being revolved around getting the apes rather than just jumping on things. There are also areas that you can't reach and more apes in the area than you were supposed to get. This means that you'll need a gadget that you haven't acquired yet, and a blue mailbox will appear indicating that you can't reach that area yet. We'll go into the backtracking in a later section. But as we get past both ages, we are put into a rival race with Jake. Earlier there was a cutscene where Spectre told more of his plans and said he had a surprise for Spike.
Hello, Professor. Remember me? It's me, Spectre, the future leader of the new age. That's right. Apes will soon rule the world, just as it should have been from the beginning.
Spectre, what's going on here? What are you planning to do?
Spectre, oh yes. You're the monkey that performs at the amusement park.
What? He's that cute little monkey that everyone loves to come and see? But how?
Yes, that's right. I stumbled onto this incredible invention of yours, this peak point helmet, and it's given me remarkable knowledge and great powers. And now, I plan to rule the world, and I owe it to you, Professor.
Spectre, you must listen to me carefully. It's true that the peak point helmet will augment your intelligence to heightened levels when it's worn. However, it is still incomplete. It's never been tested and may be very dangerous to use. I insist that you bring the peak point helmet back to me immediately.
Bring it back? Are you kidding? I'm sorry, Professor, but it's too late. I've already made duplicate helmets for my new army of apes. There's no stopping us now. The future is mine! Don't try and trick me into giving this helmet back, Professor. I'm smarter than you. I even figured out how to use the time station. I've already sent my armies back in time to rewrite history. No longer will humans be the dominant species. I will rule this world. Don't bother trying to stop me.
Huh. Spike will find you. Just wait, you'll see. We're not gonna stand around and let you take over.
Spike? That little runt? He doesn't scare me. I've got a surprise for him.
Jake!
I've always wanted to go up against you. Now here's my chance. I'm gonna have a great time destroying you and showing you who's the real hero.
What's happening? What's wrong with you? Do you realize what you're saying? Do you know who you're talking to? Snap out of it! Pull yourself together! Can you hear me?
It's no use. Somehow he's been brainwashed and he's being controlled by Spectre.
That's right, Professor. You're very perceptive. The boy you see here isn't the same anymore. He works for me now. I'm in control, and no one can stop me, especially not you. Well, I've got to go now, but I'm sure we'll be talking again soon.
Well, this is a surprise. He mind-controlled Jake to be his minion. He is sort of the boss fight, which there hasn't really been up to this point, but he doesn't attack. You just race him through an obstacle course. He jumps farther and he's faster than Spike, but other than that, you're both on an equal playing field. Beating him will allow you to progress through time and give Spectres tokens, which you can also find in the levels themselves. These things unlock mini-games that are optional, and we'll go into more of them in a later section. The next time period is Oceania, and it's the first area to look like an actual different time period, being when the ocean covered most of the earth. It's really just a beach level. Hey, that kind of hits. Sorry for being distracted, but this soundtrack is the bop. The composer used to make dance music before working on the game, so it makes sense the music is a banger. It's very hyper, which matches the tone of the game. Back to Oceania, this is where we find the hula hoop booster, which allows you to run fast over a short distance. This works for mobility and puzzles, as this is kind of the sprint button, and you have to spin around with the analog stick in order for it to progress. It can also work with knocking out fast apes. The creatures in the time period start being more active too, like these sharks that the apes take advantage of. The biggest creature here is Jabu, who's friendly on the outside, but his insides are not so much. This is a nice switch up from the beat setting of the time period. His insides will attack you, and of course, the apes take full advantage of that. It seems similar to another creature you may know from another adventure game. Moving on, the next time period is the Ice Age. This is the snow area of the game. We get the best gadget here, which is Propeller, which can boost you up a bit in the air and allows you to hover down. This makes platforming so much better, and it's just fun to use. And as you'll notice, the gadgets that give more mobility are the best ones. They make movement more fluid. The Ice Age is one of my favorite areas in the game, especially the first two areas. This area shows off how good the graphics are. Yes, the draw distance is low, but this game kind of earns that. With how detailed the textures are, you can mistake this for an N64 game at times. Just look at this area. It just looks beautiful. Not to mention more bangers from the OST. The Ice Age also keeps up with the variety, even with the snow, as you navigate through glaciers, ice lakes, fight off polar bears, and even find hot springs made by the apes just for them. It's a nice place to relax after all that platforming. After surviving the snowstorm, you have another race against Jake. This time you're both using the propeller. He's gotten a bit faster, but he still can't keep up. As you go through time, you'll notice Specter's influence as many statues and structures are built for him by the apes. Also reminding you that the ape threat is real. Can't believe I just said that. And we're about to see its full extent.
Spike, we finally located Specter. We don't know his exact whereabouts, but he's hiding somewhere within the period of the dawn of civilization. His army is growing stronger and larger, and he's finalizing his plans for taking over the new world. Transport there now and find him. Time is running out. Hurry!
This all culminated in his base, which is located in the medieval times. This is the first area to change themes within the levels themselves, all of them being medieval times equivalent of each civilization during that time. The first being feudal Japan, where you have to go through a ninja temple with traps. The second is ancient China, where you run across the roads similar to the Great Wall as freaking sushi rolls try to flatten you. And the third one is one of the best levels in the game, which represents Europe, the Crumbling Castle. It's the full base operation of Spectre. You have to capture almost every monkey in this level, as there's no count for them. Rather, you're trying to lock the door to get to Spectre's room. Apes in this era get real aggressive, with some shooting rockets or capping you with a machine gun while running away. Spectre put out his top level security for this. What makes Crumbling Castle so great is its layers. You have the outside area, the first floors of the castle, and the labyrinth dungeon underneath. You'll have to use all of your gadgets to get past this one, as many traps lay about the dark corridors of the castle. Also, again, these graphics are amazing, for the time at least. I mean, look at that lighting. Eventually, you unlock the door to Spectre and confront him.
Well, look who's here. So you finally found us.
Specter. Jake!
And how is everything coming along?
Everything is under control and coming along very nicely according to plan.
Very good. Then let's get going.
Right.
Hold on! You're not going anywhere!
Oh, yes, we are. I don't have time to bother with you right now. Oh, but we will. We will meet again. You just wait. You won't even know what hit you.
Another time, another place. You'll have your chance.
Oh man, finally, an actual boss fight. There were sort of mini bosses earlier with the creatures, but none of them were real fights. Though this guy is really easy, with the only enemy being the camera itself, as you try to avoid his lightning attacks. Once you beat him, we head back to base, but something is off.
Hey, wait a minute! What's going on here? Hey!
Apes have invaded modern times.
Whoa!
Look, it's a UFO! No! Get inside!
Whoa! Please help me!
Listen, I have a message from the professor.
Let's hear it.
Understood.
Spike, I'm sure you've seen the strange things going on outside. While you were gone, Spectre and his gang of apes swept in and have taken over the town. The entire town is running scared. Everything's been turned upside down. It's a mess and we need your help. Here, take a look. Spectre's built his base right in the middle of town. The apes are everywhere. His army is getting stronger and more dangerous. You're the only one who can save us all. You've got the gadgets, now go use them.
Time is running out. We're counting on you.
Hey, wait a minute! What are you doing?
Hold
Let
on.
go of me!
The situation has reached its most dire moment. As goofy as Ape Escape is, the characters take it really seriously. Later games will go full loony, but even with the goofy concept, the characters in the first game act like the world is in real trouble. I mean, it kinda is. Time travel is dangerous, but they seem more invested than the gameplay tone is. It's kinda cool. Maybe it's just the American version dub, but they make it seem like this is a real problem and it kinda gets you more invested. Well, until you see how stupid the apes look. It's not anything too serious, but it's worth noting that it wants you to acknowledge the stakes. With the professor and Natalie kidnapped, the AI Cassie now guides you on where the apes are. Before that, we receive another gadget, an RC car, which can be controlled to scare apes and solve puzzles. It comes in handy in this area in particular. You know, for levels that are supposed to be the city levels, you barely actually explore the city itself, even when under the control of the apes. The apes have completely taken over everything though, including the park, sewers, and building their own factories. The apes have gotten more powerful and aggressive here. Even the ones in plain sight are hard to catch because they fight back more. Some don't even have tanks with other machinery at their disposal. Man, this really is turning into War on Planet of the Apes. We have another cumulative level at the end with the TV tower, Specter's new headquarters in modern times. Apes have locked the elevator to the rooftop where Specter is located, so we have to fight our way up the tower. In one of the rooms you get to use a tank, which is also in the factory, and it controls like ass. Most vehicles don't control well at all, but at least you had alternatives before. But this tank not only controls like ass, but you're on a narrow pathway. What the hell were they thinking? After navigating through that mess, we finally reach Specter.
Oh, Spike!
Spike!
Professor, Natalie, I'm here. Don't worry, I'll get you out of here.
Oh, no, you don't. I still need them to help me, so they're not going anywhere. Ah! You're really starting to bug me.
I'll never cooperate with you, Specter.
Yeah! And when we get out of here, you'll be sorry.
Take them away.
Yes.
Stop it! Let go of us! Hey, look at us! Snap out of it!
Let him go!
Now you really made me mad. It's time to get rid of you once and for all.
Wow, another boss fight. They seem to have pushed all the boss fights towards the end of the game. Specter's ship puts up a decent fight. You gotta chase it down with the hula hoop, as the boss will constantly shoot air back at you trying to push you off the building. So at least the bosses that are here have some thought in their design, at least more than that last one we fought. But either way, we take him down.
Well done. I am impressed. I can't believe you made it this far.
That's right. I won't be beaten by you. Now return all my friends.
I'm not giving up that easily. I just had another brilliant thought. So I have to run now, but I'll see you later. You can be sure of that. See ya!
Hey, wait a minute. Where do you think you're going? Wait!
Specter's schemes lead us back to the amusement park from which he came, but now it's his twisted version called Specterland. Right off the bat, Specter lets us know that we're in for the endgame now.
Welcome back to the amusement park. I've been expecting you, but we're not here to have fun. This is all about payback. You've ruined my plans one too many times. You've captured some of my soldiers, and in return, I've decided to take your little friends. If you want them back, you'll have to play a simple game of hide and seek. You see, I've hidden the professor and Natalie somewhere in the park, and it's your job to find them before something terrible happens. The soldiers in the area are angry and ready for retaliation, and I won't be responsible for their actions. Take a look around. I fixed up the park just for you. Are you ready for the ride of your life?
No more monkeying around. Specterland is the final area, a gauntlet testing all of your abilities. You start out rescuing everyone in the amusement park. There are 4 sections, with one of them being locked off until completing the others. The apes are at their most aggressive here, and they're very fast. I found myself dying a lot just trying to catch them, but there are plenty of lives around to counterbalance that. Spectre really changed the park for the worse. There's a western shootout with the apes, a giant haunted castle with a death roller coaster, and a circus area with killer clowns. Surprised he didn't call his party pal Sweet Tooth for this. I think level design and aesthetically, Specterland works well for a final level. I especially like the roller coaster section and seeing the insides of the castle area. Each of these make use of all of your gadgets in some capacity, as you still have to capture apes to unlock doors and rescue the others. It really makes you feel like every step of this place is one step closer to death. Once rescuing Natalie and the professor, the final area will open, which is the raceway. We have our final confrontation with Jake.
Jake, we don't have to do this. Just come back to the lab.
Don't even bother, Spike. You and I have always been good competitors, but this is it. Let's settle this once and for all. Let's see who's really the best. Let's go!
You know, you think this will be a race, but nope. It's just a fight against Jake in his supercar. It's kind of a missed opportunity, but the way vehicles operate in this game, it might be a blessing. After destroying the car, Jake is saved from his mind control.
Jake!
What? Where am I?
Jake, are you okay?
Spike? Oh, this is so weird. I don't remember. I can't remember what I've been doing.
Are you okay? Don't you remember anything at all? Have you forgotten about the apes? Or about working with Spectre?
Spectre? Apes? What are you talking about? Ow, 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 ouch! My head.
Yes, it's really you. You're back to normal. I'm so glad to see you again.
I do remember something about Spectre and apes or something, but what?
Yeah! I'm so glad you're back. Let's go tell the professor.
Put me down.
Oh, look, you've broken the spell. It's just as well. I really don't need you anymore anyway. Everything's going exactly as I planned it.
Who's that?
It's Spectre.
Spike, I guess I underestimated your strength. You're smarter than I thought you were. I could use somebody like you. Why don't you join me and we'll conquer the world together? When we're a team, no one will be able to beat us.
You're crazy if you think I'll team up with you.
Relax. Just meet with me. You're looking for me anyway. You'll find me in my new castle in the middle of the amusement park. Come as my guest. I'll even leave the entrance open for you. I'll be waiting.
Are you really going?
Yeah, I've got to catch Spectre.
I'm going with you. Ouch.
No. It's better if you go back and help the professor. You need to regain your strength. The professor will need your protection.
But... Okay. I understand. I'll do that. I'll get back right away.
Can you get back there on your own?
Of course. No sweat.
Okay then. I'm going too.
Okay.
Only one stop left, and it's Spectre, who's at the top of the park. Time for a... Whoa.
What? Whoa! Huh? What? The castle's flying!
What kind of monkey madness is this? We're in space, and this is a whole nother level. Keep in mind, the park area took about 30 minutes on its own, and this space station will take about the same, if not more, all in one level with no breaks. That seems like a nightmare, but honestly I love levels like these. Most platformers at the time either had a small final level or no definitive final level at all. Instead, the last area would just be a boss fight. And hell, some of them didn't even have good boss fights for their final fight. But here, we gotta take down our enemy's whole base top to bottom. It's long and maybe there should be a stopping point, but it's so fun to go through because of the changes. We went from an amusement park to a space station where the last defense resides. In some areas, you can even see the planet below you. Look at how freaking cool that is, man. You just never expect this from looking at the cover of this game. This is a real final gauntlet. Apes everywhere, giant robots shooting lasers at you, and puzzles that teeter on the edge of the stratosphere. These apes are really trying to escape from this universe. After conquering the last of the ape resistance, we finally confront Spectre.
What's wrong with you? I can't believe what a mess you made. You didn't have to blow everything apart. I told you the door would be open. I only wanted to talk to you. That's why I invited you in. So what do you think of my castle? Do you like it? This castle is the most powerful fortress ever constructed. It will be so easy to conquer the world. It really is perfect, isn't it?
What are you saying? Are you out of your mind? Just stop this crazy plan already.
Why don't you stop fighting me and join me instead? You know, like your friend did.
No way! I won't be controlled by you!
Well, we'll see about that. With my new powers and my superior intelligence, it would be so easy to put you under my control. You could fight it all you wanted. Be able to resist. Like this! Ow! Is that painful? Give it up! Join me! Unless you do, the pain you're feeling will only get worse.
No! 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 I won't!
You really think you can fight and beat me? You're no match for my powers.
I don't want to! I won't!
Wow! What's going on? My powers! Why aren't they working?
I'll tell you why.
What?
Power alone isn't the true strength. Well, something like that.
I can't believe this is happening! I have no use for you now! Get out of here!
Hey, wait!
Take this!
It's on now. Spectre's mech is powerful with its laser beam that can destroy the platforms. He can be tricky to understand at first, but you'll be able to beat him by hitting the green weak point where his lasers come from, giving a bit of risk and reward to damaging them. I like it. It's not really hard, but if the boss is entertaining the fight, then that's good enough for me. With enough hits, Spectre is defeated.
You ruined everything! If it weren't for you, everything would be perfect!
Spectre, put a stop to this now! I'm taking you back to the amusement park.
You must be joking! You're not taking me anywhere! I'll never go back! I'm never going back to that rotten place!
You listen, and you listen good. I will return, and when I do, I'll destroy you and the world as you know it. So you better be ready, because next time, I won't fail!
Wait! Spectre!
He got away. But it seemed like there was more to his story. You kind of feel bad for the guy. But with Spectre defeated, everyone is saved and peace can be brought back to the timeline. Except not. There's still some work to do.
Spectre will definitely be back, and when he is, I'm sure he'll do more evil.
Professor, I'll go back and find Spectre.
That's a good idea, but first, use the time station to return to the past and check each era for any remaining monkeys on the loose. We can't leave any of them wandering around. While you do that, I'll go back to the lab and track down Spectre. Then we'll find him and stop him for good.
Since Spectre wasn't captured, there are still apes loose across time. You may have noticed when completing the level, there were still apes in certain areas, and some you couldn't reach without future gadgets. Well, every level has these, and you have to backtrack throughout every level to get the rest of the apes. Yeah, that sounds tedious, but I think the way Ape Escape does it works, as most of the time you'll find different areas you never explored. Plus you get the final gadget, the knockout punch. This can be used to break certain crates and objects other gadgets couldn't, and it knocks out apes for a while. So having a problem with an aggressive ape, just knock them down and they're out for good. This makes the stun club kinda useless, but by this point it was already kinda useless since it would barely stun an ape if hit. With knockout punch, however, it makes gathering the rest of the apes, especially the aggressive ones, quick and efficient, giving more time to focus on exploring the new areas you haven't explored yet. And it made me enjoy some of the levels I already liked and some that I didn't care for at first. That one additional area can change a lot. The Monkey Radar also makes it less frustrating to track apes. It shows some of their personality. They're all named different names and have different descriptions, some very stupid, but you can tell the devs cared about every ape that they placed. Again, something that other platformers struggle to do with their collectibles. Having all these tools made it quick to go round up the apes, and it never got stale because of variety. I think if you don't backtrack, you're missing out on a big part of the game, so that's why I kept doing it.
Hi-ya! Yes!
With all the apes captured, we can finally confront Spectre one last time. Before we talk about that, let's go over the minigames. These are unlocked by collecting Spectre tokens in the levels. There are 3 of them. You can kind of tell they were an afterthought. I wouldn't call them bad, but I wouldn't warrant much time to them either. Well, maybe the last one. The first is the ski race, and it has some terrible controls, which I barely even tried to understand. The second one is boxing, and it's also jank, but it's funny seeing the apes fight each other. The last one is a Galaga ripoff, and the best playing with the way it controls. It feels like a twin stick shooter. Again, these aren't going to add much value to a playthrough, but these are a nice bonus, and some of them multiplayer. With everything settled, we can finally confront Spectre in Dimension X.
Let's go!
So you finally come. You just won't give up, will you?
Of course I'm here! Someone's got to teach you that you can't conquer the world. Give it up!
You are so irritating! I just don't understand you!
What? What do you mean?
You have all that power and energy,
Why not use your powers for something better?
I'd never do anything harmful or destructive. You'll never get me to turn against my friends.
Ugh, you're so naive.
I'm still better than you are.
Yeah, give it a rest. You're still only human. But one more thing.
What now?
How is the man that raised me?
What? You mean the trainer at the amusement park?
Yeah.
Why do you ask? Were you thinking about going back? I think that's a great idea. Everyone will be so happy. I'm sure if you apologize, they'd welcome you back to the amusement park. Let's go.
What? Apologize? That's ridiculous. Why should I apologize? After the way they treated me? I told you I'm never going back. Why should I? I have come across such incredible powers and intelligence that I'm better than they are. I can do anything.
That's not true power. You're being controlled by the peak point helmet. If you knew what was good for you, you'd throw that thing away. Now do it and let's go.
Quiet! I'll prove to you just how great my powers are!
Go ahead, but if I beat you, you get rid of the helmet.
Oh, you won't beat me!
Don't be so sure, Spectre. Here I come!
There's definitely more to Spectre than being evil, but they never really go into that. But regarding the fight, Spectre finally fights you without any gadgets or robots. He's out of all of his resources, so he resorts to his psychic powers. This is probably because we captured all the apes for him to make those gadgets and gizmos. The first phase, you'll be shooting him off of his chair with a slingshot, and he has a lot of invincibility frames after hitting him, so it's important to dodge his powers. Once knocking him off his chair, you'll use a knockout punch, chase him down, and finish him off. Spectre is literally on his last legs, desperate to escape. The park must really be bad. Unfortunately for him, the age of the apes is over. They take Spectre back to the park, but nothing is explained regarding his treatment, just that the day is saved. Guess that's what the sequels are for. I hope, at least. Before we wrap up the video, I want to discuss the PSP remake of Ape Escape, Apes on the Loose. This was released as a launch title for the PSP, but with a caveat. The PSP only had one analog stick, so controls were changed drastically. Not only that, but somehow graphics are worse than the original. Just look at that texture detail. Most of it is gone in the PSP version. And what happened to the temple levels? All this fog everywhere, and that goes for a lot of the levels. Now, in the original game, there were a lot of draw distance issues, but it kept its texture detail up. I would say it's the PSP fault for this, but this is the same system that was running games like GTA Vice City and similar games that had near PS2 levels of graphics. So what's the excuse here? And the controls, they work, but you're gonna feel gimped if you played the original. No longer do you have the freedom of movement when it comes to how you use gadgets, since they are used with the face buttons now, and you can only hold up to 3 at a time instead of 4, limiting your ability to catch apes and causing more messing around in the menu. Other than those issues, the game is almost exactly the same, though there are some new voice actors and they do not sound as good as the originals.
So, Spike, has the professor finished creating his time machine yet?
He said it's just about done.
I wonder if we could take a trip in it today.
If so, I'll be going first.
That's not fair, Spike! Wait up!
Despite these issues, I think it's a good version to have, at least on the go. None of these issues really make the game bad, but rather inferior to the PS1 version, with most of these issues coming from it being on the PSP. Still, it was a good showing for a portable system, and if you want a portable version, it still satisfies that ape itch. But if you want to play the game at its best, play the PlayStation version. Ape Escape is a weird concept. Even when playing it, it's hard to take what you're doing seriously, but it has a lot of charm to its gameplay. It stood out from what other platformers tried to do at the time, and it's not given much credit for it. When discussion comes up, it's mostly about Mario, Crash, Sonic, Spyro, and a few others, but never Ape Escape, and honestly, it's just as good and unique as the rest of them. The apes turn out to be one of the best collectibles, giving you more interactions to objectives without repeating some of the same tasks. Well, you'll always be catching the apes with a net, but getting to them will be different. Very impressive for an early 3D platformer, and you also get to explore the world trying to get the collectible itself, so you're doing two things at once that are beneficiary to you. It's a wacky ride that gets overlooked, and it definitely should be up there with the rest of the platformers. There are 2 main sequels to Ape Escape, and some spin-offs, and an anime, but as of now, Ape Escape, like many other platformers of the era, is, well, dead. But it's still a great time to go and play these games and try something new. There's a method to its monkey madness that you will only understand when indulging with the apes. If you want to try it, the game is pretty cheap now to get on the PlayStation 1, or you can always emulate it on your PSP or find a PSP version. It's not as expensive as its sequels that you'll see later on, but I would definitely say go try it. A lot of people haven't really played this game, at least the ones I talked to. I don't know if that's the same for you guys, but I think that it is a good platformer that should be talked about more, that should be played more, and it does something right. You see, a lot of times collectathons kind of focus too much on the collectibles themselves rather than the world you explore, but I think Ape Escape has a good balance in that, where you want to catch these apes, but you're also exploring these new areas that are very cool to you, which is a great thing to have in a collectathon platformer. You don't just collect things to collect them, you collect them to explore the world. You want to explore the world that is given to you, and I feel like Ape Escape really does that. It really handles its monkey business right, you know what I'm saying? Can't believe I just said that. Well, anyway, pick up Ape Escape. I'm sure you're gonna have an ape-tastic time. Alright guys, that wraps up the video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button for more content. I got more videos in the way, covering some more retro games, probably some big ones pretty soon. But it's all gonna take some time. But you know I can put this content out, and it's gonna be good content, because I always make sure it's gotta be good. So hit the subscribe button and the like button if you like the video. Appreciate you guys watching the video. And this is the J Blast Network signing out. And don't forget, you gotta believe.